Hello, hello. It is Sarah Waggle, astrologer and leadership coach here for wellness astrology. This time for the moon in Leo. This is a full moon in Leo. Yeesh. Uh, okay. Of course, you can work with me one-to-one if you want. These videos give you an overall perspective on the astrology, but if you want something more personalized, I highly recommend any one of my reading options below. There's the wellness astrology. There's the sun, moon, rising if you're brand new to astrology. There's the full chart reading. There's also the AstroGoals, which is an inquiry call that if you just want a one-off of one part of your chart, sun, moon, rising, Mercury, Venus, Mars, or if you'd like to inquire about astro coaching, that's an option too. I'm going to be doing kind of posting a lot more about astro coaching here quickly, but as I've stated, like I've been kind of going through my own stuffs. So there we have it. Okay, Leo. Leo is the opposite of Aquarius. So here's the thing. And what makes this full moon so potent? And I'm going to show you the chart here in a second. But what makes this full moon so potent is this is the last full moon before eclipses. We have a lunar eclipse in Virgo in March. So we have the Pisces new moon, the last day of February, and then the lunar eclipse in Virgo. So, and once we get into those eclipses, it's go time. So this is kind of like, I really want to invite you to really get clear, really, really, really work with this full moon. If you haven't already, really work with this full moon, because the thing about Aquarius, Sun in Aquarius, we have Pluto in Aquarius, Mercury almost done in Aquarius. Aquarius, yeah, we cold-hearted, and we're cold because, and it's more of like an objective perspective. Like when I can look at a situation, I can look at it from both sides, right? I can see why there's this going on or that going on from both sides. Okay. But I also know that when I look at humans, I very often see parts of themselves that they can't understand. So Aquarians can really see parts of you that you don't understand. Leo, where this full moon is happening, is having the courage to be your individual, unique, authentic self. And I can tell you from personal experience, from working with clients, from just knowing people, 90% of us don't have the courage to be authentic. We're too scared. We're scared to be authentic because authentically, maybe you're an asshole, but you're authentic. Authentically, maybe you are a psychic medium who can communicate with those who have passed on. But we live in a world where that's not acceptable, or it's becoming more acceptable, but it's not been, the standard, right? We live in a world where we've been conditioned and programmed to believe a certain way, whether that is religiously or just, whatever. A lot of it has to do with religion, but that's besides the point. But what if authentically you, like, how crude would you like me to get? You know what I mean? Because authentically, whatever that is about you, you're terrified to let anybody see that part of you. And this goes for me too. Like I'm not immune here. I'm not immune. Authentically, what is it about you that you're afraid of? Because this Leo full moon, which is also squaring Uranus and Taurus, newly direct. It's coming up right after Mercury Cazimi. And it's happening when we have a Pisces stellium that's giving us the biggest illusions of our life. And so, really take some time during this full moon to really, and throughout this week, to really look at yourself and be like, if I'm being real and being authentic, what do I really want to be doing? Because your skills and talents that you may have and possess may not be on a resume. It's not your skills and talents may not be that you can type 100 words a minute, or you can edit X number of words per minute or whatever, or that you're good at organization, or that you're detail oriented, or that you're timely and you're efficient and all of those things. That may not be your actual skills. Those are your skills that you can put on a resume, but those may not be like your gifts and your talents. Your gift and your talent may be that you can feel the energy of other people. You can see their aura. You can experience something about other people that most people most of us try to hide from. And we're getting to the point where we can't hide from it anymore. You can't just put your headphones on and pull your hood up and pull your hat down over your face. By the way, this was me, right? We're getting to the point where we can't hide from it anymore. So let's take a look at the chart and see what's up with this full moon. I kind of like it. By the way, if you're a crystals person, this is the better full moon to charge your crystals to, or charge your moon water to. Yes, it's square Uranus. Yes, it's going to be Uranian because Uranus does Uranus things. But I personally like this one better than the Cancer moon that was, I think it was, what was that one? There was something up with Uranus at that Cancer full moon. Either way, it doesn't matter. I don't remember what I said. I just remember thinking it wasn't a good moon to charge your crystals. This one's better to charge your crystals. But just know, regardless of what I say about charging your crystals, because I'm not a crystals person, but what I do know is energy. And what I understand about charging to a full moon is you want to be cognizant and observant of like not just blindly charging your crystals to every full moon, but being aware of like what energy is coming with that full moon, because maybe I don't want that energy for the next 28 days to have to deal with. So I may tell you that this is a better moon to charge your crystals, but you do you. If you feel like this is not, you don't want that Uranus energy with your crystals but maybe you do want that Uranus, like, yeah, disrupt the fuck out of my life. I don't care. Right? I'm ready for a change. So this could be perfect for you, or it could be not perfect for you because you don't want the disruption. So do you see what I'm saying? You make your choice based on what I tell you about the full moon and or whatever other astrologer says about the full moon, and you're like, oh yeah, I want that energy. But if you feel like that energy gives you the absolute ick, then you don't want to charge your crystals. So you don't want that ick energy with you throughout the next cycle. Anyway, enough of that. Let's get into this chart. Alrighty, here we are. Full moon in Leo, 24 degrees and some change. And you can see it right here. Boom. And I'm going to do this right, or my markings will be weird. There's Uranus. There's the sun. There's the opposition. That's the T-square. But I do like this one. Like I said, Mercury's at 26 Aquarius. So he's almost done in Aquarius. He's going to be heading into Pisces. But I do like this one better. It's at 24, kind of in a wide trine to Chiron. Chiron's at 1924, so that's what, 5 degrees. So yeah, it's a wide trine. but not as vicious as I feel like the Cancer full moon was. But anyway, we still have Mars at 17, so he's in a wide square to Chiron. Mars is at 17, which means he is close. That's his stationing direct degree, although that's not till dang it, February 23rd, when he stations direct. But 17 degrees is going to be where he's sitting for a long time. So if you have planets or points at 17 Cancer, 17 of any of the cardinal signs, Aries, Libra, Capricorn, you could be affected by that Mars, particularly if you have something at 17 of Capricorn, that would be an opposition. So that could be a bit more intense. Also, if you have anything at 17 of the water signs like Scorpio or Pisces, I feel like we haven't talked about Scorpio in forever. I'm feeling a little left out. Anyway, but though you might also be affected by the Mars stationing situation. So I would say from probably like 16 degrees of those signs to maybe like 18, 19. I may not be giving it quite enough of an orb, but I tend to keep my orbs a little bit tighter than most people. And I'm okay with that. It doesn't mean that you won't, like, let's just say you have something at 21 Cancer, you still may be feeling that Mars stationing situation. So there's that. And that's another reason why you'd want to get a full chart or some kind of a reading with me, whether it's a full chart reading or single transit reading or something. Because if I look at your chart, I can probably say like you may still feel it. Because I don't know what's going on in your individual lives. Anywho, okay. What else do we have going on? So we have this T square, which means things will get crunchy, disrupted. Things will get dicey, likely. I mean, they've been dicey with everything that's going on. But it's a tale of the take, right? Like it's just how things are going right now. We of course have Venus of 5 degrees Aries. I'm almost sure without looking that Venus stations retrograde at 6 degrees of Aries. So she's like a degree away from her station. She stations retrograde the beginning of March. So we're just a few weeks away from that. We, of course, have Neptune at 28 Pisces, the North Node at 27, and Saturn at 18. And so, Neptune, I meant to look up the date that Neptune moves into 29 Pisces. I would say it's coming up fairly shortly here, though, because he does move into Aries the end of March. Once Neptune gets to that 29-degree Pisces, like game on as far as the illusion, the delusion, the fogginess, but also the amped up creativity. So, and as Neptune gets closer to 29 Pisces, Venus will be retrograding back into Pisces. And so this is going to make March a really interesting month. But for as far as this full moon is concerned, like this is the time to really focus on what the fuck. Okay, let's see if I can word this some kind of a different way. Because there's a particular way I want to say this. As Mars continues to square Chiron, which is going to be a situation for still a little bit of time here. You got Mars squaring Chiron. Okay. You've got this full moon T square with Uranus. Okay. My question to you, how long are you going to hold on to the friendship that's in the way of you having the coolest life ever? 1. 2, how long are you going to keep telling your childhood trauma story so that you don't have to do the fucking work that's going to move you forward? How long are you going to keep stewing in your hot stew of shit so that you don't have to do whatever? Because as long as you hold on to that friendship, as long as you hold on to that story, as long as you hold on to that victimy, whatever it is, you don't have to move forward. You can keep throwing your temper tantrum. You can keep kicking and screaming. And the people that are there to actually help you move forward, whether it is a therapist, a coach, a friend, a spouse, a whatever, whomever, are going to walk away from you, right? There's only so long that people can hold space for you. And I'm not saying that everyone doesn't have their own time to make transformation happen, because I obviously don't agree with that. I'm a coach. And I do believe that transformation takes time. And there are back and forths, and there's 2 steps forward and 3 steps back, and sometimes 2 steps forward and 15 steps back. I certainly understand that. Believe me, my own transformation has been literally like moments where I'm kicking and screaming because I don't know what to do, and moments when I have catapulted myself forward and been like, oh yeah, and then boom, I'm back where I get like whiplashed back. But this is the thing about Pluto being here in Aquarius, this full moon in Leo, and Leo being about the courage and the strength to, move forward. And with these eclipses coming up in Virgo and then in Aries, and then we have Neptune moving into Aries, and then subsequently Saturn moving into Aries. There could be this moment where, like, if you don't consciously choose it in this moment, that it could get like wiped away, and then you're left dealing with the oh shit. Like, I don't like to be the astrologer to tell you that you're fucked if you don't make the right decision, because I don't like that. And there are astrologers who present it that way. I don't necessarily think that you're fucked if you make a bad decision during this full moon, but I definitely think the road is going to be a little bumpier. The waves are going to be a lot harder to deal with if you choose to stay connected to people, places, and things, or the nouns, as I like to call them, that are holding you back. If you choose to keep holding on to the story, there's this whole like the split in the earth, right? The earth is the humanity is going to split, right? Some of us are going to live in utopia and some in dystopia. And whether or not that's true, I don't know, because I feel like at any time you could choose to have it go in more of a utopic way, right? And you still may be in the I don't know moment. That's where I am. I'm in I don't know. Right? I know what I would like to see happen for me, but I don't know what that looks like right now. Right? So what I'm saying here is that you may not know, like, there's so much unknown because we're having like Neptune move into Aries for the first time in like 150 odd years. We don't know what that looks like. None of us alive knows what that looks like. We know what historical events happened the last time, but we don't know what it looks like in this evolved evolved space of humanity. So, but God forbid you be on the side that you don't get to allow that to open up for you, because you're hanging on to the this happened to me, that happened to me, this person's been my buddy for X number of years, I gotta be loyal to them. Well, loyalty can come at a fault. Loyalty can come with beer goggles or rose colored goggles, because you may be holding on to a person that's actually destroying every other part of your life, and that's loyalty to a fault. That's blind loyalty, right? Are you willing to follow a person or a group of persons out of loyalty, even though they may be leading you down a path that is dark, versus letting go of that situation or those people or that person and leading yourself into a courageous new future? And ultimately we can't choose anyone else's karma, we can't choose anyone else's journey, we can't choose it for anybody. What I'm suggesting here, though, is that you have this opportunity to use this full moon to let the fuck go of the shit that's holding you back, the people that are holding you back, the story that you're holding on to, clinging to at this point, so that you don't have to be authentic because you're scared shitless to be authentic. Because authentic means that, oh my God, I can communicate with dead people. And all you can think about is the sixth sense, right? Or, I'm going to hold on to that story because if I don't and I show my true colors and, people aren't going to like me. People aren't going to like you anyway. But you have to have the courage to be your authentic, unique self. And all I'm saying is this is an opportunity to really be into that, whatever that looks like for you, to get comfortable in your own skin, to get comfortable in your lion or lioness self, to embrace who you are, accept the dark parts of you. I mean, look at some of like the best authors. Stephen King, right? Some of the darkest, maybe not the darkest. He's the darkest I've kind of ever read. Robert Jordan, who wrote The Wheel of Time. Brandon Sanderson. Sorry. What's the guy's name? Stanley Kubrick or whatever his name is. Think about that. They embraced the dark of themselves. And look what it did for them. Right? You don't have to doll it up and make it look pretty to be presentable or to be successful. It can be dark AF and be successful because there are those of us out here who like reading dark shit. So use this full moon. It's a good one to do those things. And it could get a lot harder and a lot crunchier and a lot more ick if you don't. Like, this is your moment. All right, let's see what's up with the tarot. I would expect there to be some kind of disruptive events. I mean, but that's been the definition of 2025 thus far, is disruptive events and all of the things. So I think you can just count on that. That it's probably going to be. Apparently my throat chakra is not having it. All right, let's see what's up with the tarot. Ew. The Fool in reverse. Data. Yeah, you're stunted. You're stunted, you're stuck, you're terrified of being who you are. I mean, this is pretty much the definition of what I just said. Like, so many people are just terrified to be themselves. They're terrified of what that might mean. I was recently listening to, gosh, what was it? Who was it? Cam White, maybe. He did a whole video about astrologers are afraid to be real because they're afraid to lose an audience. And I think that holds true with anybody that does content creation. Doesn't have to be an astrologer, but anybody who does content creation, they're afraid to be real because they're afraid of their audience. Well, there's been so many times I've wanted to stop doing this channel because it's not growing. It's like I get stagnant. And then I'm like, but I said I was going to do it. But I said I was going to do it. I was going to keep teaching myself to talk about astrology. I was going to keep learning how to refine what I do. And so when it comes to content, for me, it's like, yes, do it for you that's listening. And I know I have some loyal listeners and some loyal followers. but I do it as much for y'all as I do it for me to continue practicing, like, trying to implement more use of actual charts. When I started this channel, I had mostly blind people. I don't have mostly blind people anymore. So, I got to kind of let myself expand a little bit, but don't be so afraid to post what you want to post as your content or have the conversations you want to have because of other people's responses. We also got the um Knight of Cloaks in reverse. Damn. Okay. Knight of Cloaks, Knight of Wands, Knight of Fire. Yeah. I mean, the fear here couldn't be clearer. Like, people are so scared to be authentic. And this is going to make Pluto in Aquarius that much more difficult for people over the next 18 years, is that people are so afraid to be themselves. They're so afraid to break from the crowd of loyalty, and who can blame them? I've heard horror stories of people who go against the grain of whatever community they're in support of, but then they don't support one part of that community, so they kind of walk away. And the backlash is ridiculous. And so I get it. Like, so if you're following a group, don't follow them loyalty to a fault. Make sure that you're in alignment with yourself. And if there's something that group is doing, if they're staying perpetually pissed off over things that are happening right now, and you're like, yeah, but it's the way it's the way it is, and it's the way it's got to go, maybe it's time for you to break away from that group of people. Maybe it's time for you to get in check with yourself, because you want to stay the perpetual complaining, angry person that things aren't going the way you think, like, or the way your group wants it to go. But you're like, okay, but if we just be patient, no, there's no patience. We must protest. We must blah, 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 blah. Right? All right, in the dark magic for this full moon, MAGICK, victory, victorious. And this is like it is good to ask for support. Yeah. And the thing is like, people aren't going to support you. People are not going to support. People are less likely to support you if you are a whiny, complainy brat who, like, doesn't, doesn't, um, you're not trying to help yourself, right? You just want to complain. You just want to whine. You just want to, well, it doesn't work for me that way. And I don't know how. Blah, blah. Stop it. People are out there to help you. People are out there to support you. But if you're not willing to do your own work and support yourself and keep trying and keep thriving, like, people aren't going to support you. So, yeah, you got to do your part to make this happen. No one's going to do it for you. Right? In coaching, we used to hear that nobody could go to the bathroom for you. That was the literal example that they would give of, like, ultimately, you have to do your work. You have to do your emotional intelligence work. You have to do your mental development work. No one can do that for you. So, anyway, take care of yourselves. I appreciate y'all. And I will talk to you on the next video. Take care.